Hey big family, welcome back to my kitchen. We are here again because I'm going to be making something yummy with you today. It's going to be good, y'all. This is my homemade spaghetti. So everybody's got their version of spaghetti, right? Everybody's got their own recipe. Everybody's got their family traditions. Everybody makes it different. I've never tasted two spaghettis that were exactly the same. Everybody makes it different. This is just how I make it. I like it. My whole family likes it. They always rave about it. They ask me if I can cook it often. I don't do a lot of things really well because Wes is the chef in our family. I don't cook a lot of things, very professionally, and I'm not a very practiced cook, but there are a few recipes that I think I do really well that I stick to because I love them and my family loves them and they're just awesome. I do red beans and rice really well. I do spaghetti really well. So here we go. I'm gonna show you how I do mine. So we start off right here with this really big pot. Now, you don't have to have a huge pot. I'm making a huge amount of spaghetti. I'm making a big amount for a huge portions. Usually you don't need this big of portions, but we are a family of 6. And when I make it, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go big, right? Go big or go home. So I say go big in your home. I am gonna make lots and lots so that we can freeze it for other meals. We make huge amounts of chili and we freeze the rest and we just pull it out of the freezer for a quick meal. So when I make spaghetti, I make a big old pot of it so we can freeze the rest and just have Insta spaghetti, because this spaghetti takes about half a day to make. So if you don't have a lot of time, you're not going to want to do spaghetti from scratch. You probably want to go the quick route, the jar spaghetti or whatever, and just heat it up in the microwave or whatever it is that you do. But if you're doing homemade spaghetti, if you're doing spaghetti my way, it's going to take you about half a day. It's going to take you hours and hours to cook this thing down and let those flavors just come together and really accumulate there. So big old pot to make a lot of it. So the first things first, you got to turn your heat on and get that pot going on low. You don't want high yet, you want low. I have already cut up my onion over here. So normally you would need either a really big onion or 2 kind of small to medium onions. So I cut up 2 onions. That's the least amount that you're gonna need. So you wanna feel, I say feel, don't touch down the bottom of your pot, but I put my hand here, I'll put my hand a little lower and I can feel the heat, You wanna feel when that's like, the heat's just right, it's ready to cook or something. But while it's heating up and while I'm feeling the heat process, I'm gonna go ahead and put my oil in. So you can use literally any kind of oil. I just happen to have some canola oil. I'm gonna use that. You can use vegetable oil, olive oil, any kind of oil you have will do. It's nothing serious. It's just a little dab of that. So you want I say a dab. I don't measure, I just pour in a dash of it and it's good. So I'm not picky, any kind of oil, dash of it, let it heat up. I'm letting that oil get nice and hot. So when it warms up to the right temperature, that's when you're gonna take your chopped up onion. So it's best to go ahead and have the onion chopped. I learned that the hard way. Don't sit there and try to chop the onion while your oil's burning. You wanna go ahead and chop the onion ahead of time. So take all your onion pieces and you're gonna just pour them in the oil. I just dump that onion on in and let it start sauteing up. And you know how onions cook down and they become translucent? That's the right word, when they start looking all clear and see-through. Start smelling good and smelling right. And I am a messy cook, just like I'm a messy eater. Y'all can see probably stains all over my shirt. I eat messy, I cook messy. It turns out great. It tastes good and we love it. It's fabulous. So you are gonna wanna stir the onion around in the oil. Mix it up nice and good. And like I said, you gotta let it cook. Don't put anything else in yet. Don't throw any like garlic in there yet. Your garlic will burn. Your onions won't, but your garlic will. Garlic burns easy. So you wanna let those onions cook for a minute. Start smelling it. Start letting it be good for a minute. I'm gonna get one, pause the video. Can y'all hear that? Ooh, smell it. Yeah, onions are cooking. And all they need is oil, that's it. They need a little touch of oil and they just cook down in their own deliciousness. They start to sweat. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about my seasoning. So normally, when we had the big garden and everything, we were growing our own garlic. We had some thyme and grew some parsley. But from our big garden that we brought with us from our other homestead, we have freeze-dried our own basil. and we freeze dried our own sage. So I do have the remnants of that to use. But if you don't grow your own, herbs, not a big deal. Don't stress about it. Just buy the store-bought stuff. I got this stuff from Sam's Club. So whatever you have on hand. But if you have real garlic, it's better. It's more like potent. It's more flavorful. I find that it works better in spaghetti if you have real garlic to cut up and throw in there. But I have garlic powder, so that's what I'm going to use. So I just use the seasonings that I have on hand. You're going to need some beef bouillon or some sort of beef flavoring because you're going to need to add that depth of beef, feel to the spaghetti. We used to grow a lot of our own tomatoes, and I have made true homemade spaghetti sauce all the way from scratch. I used to cut up my own tomatoes. I used to dice up my own homemade tomatoes that I grew. I used to make my own tomato sauce. I used to do the true, real, from scratch homesteaders spaghetti, and that's great. If you have your own tomatoes, use them. If you have that freshness and that loveliness of your own produce, use what you have and what you grow. That's amazing. But I didn't grow any tomatoes because we just moved here. So what I have is the sauce in the can and the big old can of diced tomatoes, again from Sam's Club, because we have a big family and that's where we shopped. And so I have canned stuff, canned sauce, canned diced tomatoes, and that's perfectly fine. Don't stress it. Oh, they're looking almost right to throw in the rest of the herbs and the seasonings and start throwing in the sauce and stuff. It's almost ready. You'll know when they get nice and translucent and they're looking clear and they're smelling good and they're kind of all sweated and cooked down a little bit. That's just right. So you got to kind of eyeball it. You'll know when to throw in the other stuff. You'll know. So since it's just about ready, I'm going to go ahead and throw in my other stuff. So how much to throw in? Haha, that's the thing. I don't use any measuring cups. I throw in what I feel is right. So with basil, we like that basil flavor, but be careful. This freeze-dried stuff is, you only need a little bit. It's strong. So we like our basil, and throw in that basil. Yep, and I can always add more in a minute. Time to throw in the garlic. Good amount of garlic. Garlic makes the spaghetti work. It does. And I use at least 2 bay leaves, maybe 3, but these are little, so I'm gonna throw in, that one, that's a good one. 1, 2, 3, there you go. All right, so you just kind of, a few bay leaves. I say a few bay leaves. Some thyme. I'm gonna dust in some thyme on top of it. A little bit of parsley, and I'm just kind of eyeballing, just shaky in the pot. Just throw it in. And some sage. Now again, this is freeze-dried homemade sage, so don't need a lot. Just need a light dusting of sage. Okay. Got my seasonings. I'm gonna stir it around a little bit. Give it a good stir. Yeah, smelling good now. Okay, this is where you want to add your water. You feel it starting to kind of cook together, starting to kind of stick together a little bit. You want to add some water. Yep. A little bit of water. And the reason that we sauteed the onions and all the seasonings in the bottom of the pan before we even added any liquid or anything is because it concentrates those flavors. You have to cook that onion and make it sweat first because that's what's going to really, really bring out the flavor in the spaghetti. That just makes that depth. Anybody who has tried a lot of different spaghettis, you know what I'm talking about. There's some spaghettis that are like, oh, that was okay. That tasted like surface level quick spaghetti or like jar spaghetti or just like regular spaghetti. But then there's spaghetti that you can tell it's been concentrated or it's been thickened or it's been cooked down for hours and hours. It has layers of flavor. It has depth of flavor. So that's what we're going for. So I am going to heat up some water and put in, I heated up water in that jar and put it in the microwave. I'm going to put a couple of cubes of this beef broth, beef bouillon in there. I'm going to put about, say 3 cubes. That's a good healthy amount of beef broth for this big old pot. We're going to put 3 cubes in there. 1, 2, 3. Start dissolving these little squares into here. They're going to break down in a minute. Once these dissolve, I'll just throw it into the pot. Okay, so that's pretty good and dissolved right there, nice and brown liquid. Okay, go ahead and toss that in. Okay. Now another thing you can get ready to throw in is your diced tomatoes. Now again, you can use fresh diced or canned diced, but it's time to put in the tomatoes. And the tomato sauce. Time to put in this. Now I'm gonna use 6 little cans because I don't have a great big giant can of the sauce, so I'm gonna use 6 little cans. And now we're not done. Oh no, but there's more. So also what you gotta do, here in the South, we believe in some good tasting food. So to make food taste good, what do you need? Butter, butter, and more butter. Say it with me, ladies, butter. So what I do with my big pots of spaghetti, especially a big old pot like this, I'm gonna use a whole stick of butter, whole big old stick, and I'm just gonna drop it in. And that's gonna give it a yumminess, a richness, a creaminess. That's gonna make it, the flavor taste more buttery. It's gonna just collect all those flavors together. It just does something beautiful and magical to this thing. Let that dissolve and sink into there. Now another special ingredient of mine that goes in my spaghetti personally, y'all don't have to use this if you don't want to, but this is just how we do it because that's what we like it. You know, that's the way we like to eat it. I use wine, specifically red wine. You want a dry red wine. A good Malbec, you know, something like that will work just fine. We don't drink the wine. We don't drink alcohol, you know, we just don't. So since we don't drink any alcohol, we cook with wine. So in a lot of our meals, we'll saute things in a pan and pour a dash of wine, or, you know, we do a lot of cooking with wine. So this works beautifully in spaghetti. So you want to give it like a glug. You want to just throw a good healthy glug in there. So that's going to give it more of that depth and flavor. And like I said, this is going to cook down for hours and hours. So while this is cooking down, it's cooking all of the actual alcohol out of it and leaving the flavor. You do want to add a little bit of salt right about now. So that's the other seasoning that I kind of left out. You do want to do a dash of salt. You can even do pepper. If y'all like a spicier spaghetti, you know, if you like a little kick to it, you can throw cayenne in there. You can throw Tony's. You can throw whatever zest or spice you like in it. But I definitely want to add a little bit of salt. So I just do, like, you know, sprinkle over the top layer just enough to like coat that top layer in salt. Just get that good top of the spaghetti coated a little bit. All right, that's good. Now my last secret ingredient, my last secret weapon to make my spaghetti fabulous that works beautifully every time. Last secret ingredient is soda. Yes, that's right. I put soda in my spaghetti. Dr. Pepper is the best one. But if you have Coke, that works great too. My aunt always cooked it using Coke. I prefer it with Dr. Pepper. But you have to put soda in the spaghetti if you want it to turn out the way that I make it. Because it is what actually cuts the acid. It gives a little bit of sugar, that tiny bit of sweetness, and it also cuts the acid out of the tomato that's in it, because all that tomato has got a lot of that acid burn and a lot of acid in the food, so it just kind of cuts that acid for you. It makes a nice bubble effect. It's really cool. So if you have a tiny Dr. Pepper, that'll work, but if you have a big can, you want to use about half the can of Dr. Pepper. I'm going to sacrifice one of my tiny Dr. Peppers, and I'm going to put it in the spaghetti. The whole can. Bubble, 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 toil and trouble. Fire burn and cauldron bubble. And I'm actually going to drink the Coke myself while I wait. And that's it, folks. That's really all that goes into my spaghetti. So now at this point, I just kind of cover it and turn it down to the lowest setting to simmer. Turn it on real low and just kind of watch it. You got to stir it often. You don't want to leave it alone for hours at a time. You got to check it like every 15, 20 minutes. You got to be stirring and checking. Don't let it stick onto the bottom. Don't let it burn. Spaghetti is something you have to watch and tend to. And it's a cook all day long process. At least 4 hours, but if you can cook it all day and just let it continue to cook down, great. And when it starts to thicken, when that spaghetti starts to shrink and starts to thicken up and starts to, you know, you're scared it's going to stick, add more water. All you do is add water to it. So all day long, I'm going to watch it, and as it simmers down, I'm just going to add water to it. And then for the final, I think, 2 hours of the process, like 2 hours before we eat, I stop adding water and I let it thicken. I let it cook down like again. It's kind of like when bread is rising, when you're making bread and you let it rise, and then you push it down and you mold it, and then you let it rise again. The first and second rise of making bread. Well, it's kind of like the cook down, fill it with water, cook down, fill it with water. And I let it do that last cook down, and then it gets nice and thick. And when it's thick enough, that's when you know it's time to eat and it's ready to serve. You can put your ground meat in at any time, saute your ground meat separately in a pan, and throw ground meat in it at any time. You can also throw other meats, sausage, chicken, whatever you like. We use plain ground meat, and that's all we put in it. But I mean, any meat at any time, and just let the meat be in here and just soak up those tomato flavors and just cook in with it. But yeah, down to your last hour and a half, 2 hours, that's when you want to let it really get thick and let it cook down. Now, as it's cooking, like I said, as you're tending to this process every 15, 20 minutes, as you're stirring, as you're watching, as you're cooking, you're also smelling and tasting. If something doesn't smell like it smells like it doesn't have enough, or it tastes like it doesn't have enough, like taste it a little bit, and this needs a little more garlic. Add some more garlic. Taste your ingredients, taste your herbs. Get a little thyme or parsley on your finger and put it in your mouth and taste it. Eat it. Taste it and see what it tastes like. And then taste your spaghetti and say, ooh, it would taste better with more of that. You know, dash a little more in there. Don't be afraid to dash some more. Make it taste as good as you want it to taste. Add the herbs that you want in your spaghetti to make it taste fabulous. And while we let that spaghetti cook down and simmer and get nice and yummy, I'm going to come back and check on it in just a little bit. But while that's cooking, let's go and walk about here for a second. Let's go looking and see what we can see. Oh, I see Daddy spoiled y'all, didn't he? Daddy brought y'all some magnolia leaves and branches to play in. Yep, Daddy's been giving y'all things and throwing it in. Henry, leave Marshmallow alone, baby. He does not want your attention and your loves. Get off of him, honey. Henry, no. Hey, Henry, no. He's doing that whiny, grunty fuss that a buck does when they're frisky and playful. That whiny, fussy thing. Marshmallow might get tired of you one day, honey. He's got horns. He might turn around and knock you out, babe. I'm just saying. Boys will be boys, huh? Oh, beautiful. I have got to get these mums in the ground. Y'all, what's wrong with my mums? They're looking haggard. All the flowers fell off of them. They've been getting rain and sun and everything, and this is a good spot, but they are not happy in these pots. I'm hoping that when we get this spot tilled up and made into a little flower bed, when I finally get them in the dirt, I'm hoping they do a lot better, but something's not right with these mums. The camellias are coming. They're coming just round the corner. I see lots and lots of buds all over this big bush. It's coming. Oh, come, Emmanuel, and free your captive Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, O Israel, to you shall come Emmanuel. Beautiful, just beautiful. So this whole thing is about to flush out in these pink blooms. Oh, that's gonna be lovely. What color do you have, madam? You gotta show us your color. Your beautiful glory. And this one over here is pink too. It's already starting to bloom out and I can see the pink blooms. That one's like a pale pink. It's got some pale coloration on it. That's lovely. And this one's darker. This one's got a really dark pink going on. Still pretty. I love it. I'll take it. Whatever shades of pink and red they want to give me, I'll take it. Y'all, this breeze feels amazing. The whole weather feels good. I know we're going to have a bad storm here in a few hours, but right now it's just glorious. Oh, it's like overcast, but a little sunny, and that breeze is just right. It's so nice to just take a walk outside. So good. This one hasn't put on any blooms yet, but it's getting there. It's got buds all over it. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and ever pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices. Oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Well, it's starting to drizzle on me. It's starting to rain. The storm is here a little early, I guess. So it's telling me it's time to go in. Hey, honey.
Hey, baby. What you doing?
Checking on my spaghetti. Ooh, yeah. Y'all see that steam? Yes. A good layer of foam on top. It's all cooking in. Yeah. Get down in it and stir to the bottom. Get all the good bits to float up. There we go. That butter has all melted in. The wine has accumulated in it. That soda's done got in it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That smells just right. That is beautiful. Yes. And go ahead and taste it. Let's see. I'll use this. Get you a little tiny dab of it. I wish I had rosemary. That's the one seasoning I didn't put in it that I'm actually out of, or I would have put in it, is rosemary. Rosemary does do great things for spaghetti. Yes. Yep. I wouldn't change a thing to it right now. Maybe after the flavors blend, I'll check it as it goes, but right now, it's perfect. Like I said, I would have thrown a dash of rosemary in if I had it, but I'm out right now. So I'll cover it back up. Let it cook down some more. I'll come check it in about 30 minutes. Do you like my spaghetti?
I love your spaghetti.
Good answer.
Delicioso. All right, y'all. Now, while Angie went on and on about how she made her spaghetti sauce, don't let her fool you. It's a team effort, y'all. It's a team effort. It is her sauce. I'll give you that. It's her sauce. But I'm always responsible for making the noodles, and I always try and sneak in something that she doesn't like. And this is a Cajun thing as far as I know, y'all. Putting eggs, boiling some eggs in your spaghetti sauce. Do y'all do that? Do y'all put eggs in your spaghetti sauce? Now, they're not boiled yet. Got to put the eggs in, let them boil in the sauce. Now, I heated them up first in some warm water so that they wouldn't just crack because they came out of the fridge. So if you just put a cold egg in there, it ended up just cracking. But put them in there. Let those eggs boil in there. Oh, y'all, that's going to be so good. Do y'all eat boiled egg with your spaghetti? If you do, let us know in the comments. Yeah. Boiled egg and the spaghetti. That's the good stuff. That's some good stuff there. This water's boiling already, too. And y'all thought spaghetti was just an Italian thing. Oh, no. Old Claude like himself some spaghetti, too. Woo, especially after that spicy boudin. Oh, yeah. Look at that. You excited, Miles?
You hungry, baby?
You excited for spaghetti?
Hold on. Wait.
Ooh, it's hot. Don't take a bite of that yet. Ooh, I'll take that lid from you, baby.
Thank you. Oh, Miles.
Sit down. There we go. Whoop. All right, yeah. Ooh, look, Lily got her birthday present from Miles, her little cast iron bowl thingy.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to eat in tonight. You excited, ladies? For spaghetti?
I'm really excited to eat.
You're really excited to eat? Yeah? You wouldn't care what it is then, huh?
Miles loves the shaky
Oh, the Parmesan. Avery, come on, girl. You know you want some spaghetti. You love noodles. Ooh, yeah. You excited, baby?
Is that your little dish, Lily? I'm so excited. I've been wanting it.
Yeah. And I may have
You slipped some surprises
I
in
may
my
have-
pot. I see that. Look. I see this.
Look, boiled egg goes
this.
with spaghetti.
Uh-huh.
How many times I got to tell you,
Says you.
boiled eggs go in spaghetti?
Says you.